We make tens of thousands of decisions every day. Luckily, most of them are subconscious and they're made without our intentional action. For example, breathing. We don't think about breathing every time we breathe. We just do it naturally because our brain's like, "Oh, we need to do this. So let's just automate this and make it happen." But what happens when we don't have decisions that are automated? How do we make decisions that we know we'll be proud of, that we know will serve us well, and that we know align with what we value and where we want our life to go? Well, that's what we're talking about today. We're talking about a framework for decision making that will not steer you wrong, that will make decision making not only easy for you, but also it'll be life-giving, and it'll send your life in a trajectory of the direction that you want to go. So let's do this. Hey, and welcome to the Full Weight of Joy podcast, the podcast for women who are done stressing about the weight of the world, of expectations and settling for status quo, and ready to step into the full weight of joy. Joy in the journey, whether up or down, joy through the life's challenges, and joy in loving your life right where you are, even though sometimes we feel like chucking it all and moving to Bali. It's for women who are ready to step into who God called them to be. He chose you to be in this world. He created you for a specific purpose. God called us to be the light on a hill, and by embracing who you are and whose you are, you can stand on that hill and shine. The best part, when you're standing next to another woman who's also on the journey, the world gets brighter. My name is Tammy. I'm your host and a master certified life coach and a trained therapist. For over a decade, I've been helping women do just that. Step into who they're called to be and shine. Are you ready, friend, to start your journey? Let's do this. Thoughts on decision making. Do you find that it's easy for you to make decisions? Do you make decisions quick? Do you regret decisions after you make them? Do you have like a process when you make decisions? What is your thought? Have you ever had decision fatigue? So when I first moved to Oklahoma, I bought land several years before I moved here. But then I was building a house. And one of the things that I told my builder is that I get decision fatigue. If I have to make a lot of decisions at once in a very short amount of time, I know that I get overwhelmed. I need time to, especially when it comes to like colors and style, like I don't know what I don't know. And so it was one of the things that I told them beforehand. And he's like, "Don't worry, I'll give you plenty of time to make decisions." Well, if you've ever built a house, you'll make a decision and then you wait. You make a decision, then you wait. Then all of a sudden, there's about 5 million decisions that need to be made right here. And they all like depend on each other. And it's like, this is exactly what I asked you not to do. And I was thinking about the times in my life that I got decision fatigue. Or decisions where I'm like, I don't know what I need to do. Like, I don't really know. Part of it is I don't know what I don't know. I am learning as I grow older. That is probably 90% of my indecision is because I don't know what my options are. So I've started asking like, okay, so tell me some of the options for this, or well, just in general, what are some of the options? But what I wanted to do today is because we have to make so many decisions. And I wanted to clear up because it really doesn't have to be hard. Now, I get it. The building a house, all that, like the colors, the styles, all of that, like the tile with the floor, with the all of the things, the window shape, like there's so many things that you have to decide. So I'm not talking about those kind of decisions. What I'm talking about is your day-to-day decisions. When you come to a crossroads, when you are looking at, okay, I'll go this way or this way. You are some of your daily decisions. I want to make that easy for you. So I wanted to talk about 3 things. If you want a decision-making process, if you want a solid way to mitigate your decision fatigue or mitigate I don't know if this is the right decision. These 3 things, when you have these, the decisions that you make are solid. You can almost guarantee, like there's no 100% in life. We don't know what's going to happen in the future. However, when you have a framework, when you have a process, when you have done the pre-work, when it's time to make the decision, it makes it a lot easier because it's clear to see yes or no or left or right or this way over that. And so I just wanted to share with you 3 things that if you know these 3 things, then you can make an informed decision, you can make a confident decision, you can make a quick decision if you need to. Okay, so the first one is your core values. Should not be, if you listen to this podcast at all, you should know that this is not something like revolutionary. I've been talking about understanding your core values for a really long time. That when we understand the values that we hold and what our top 3, top 5, like I like to know the top 10 and then the top 5 within those. And that's kind of where, and if it goes along with one of my values or directly against one of my values, it's a pretty easy yes or no. And so the more you understand your core values, the easier it is to make a decision. But sometimes the decision isn't as easy. There's like, well, both of them kind of go with my core value. Okay, so I go to step 2 then, and I look at this season's priorities. We should know season by season, and I say season not as in summer, winter, fall, spring, but I'm talking about the seasons of your life. For me, it's beginning of school. It's the beginning of school, fall to winter, like holidays, beginning of the year. Like it's really in 2 to 3 months. So kind of, 4 to 5 seasons in a year. Summer is its own beast. So that's a season. And so by looking at your season, like what season are you? Are you in a season of action? Are you a season of chaos? Because kids are about to go back to school, which they are. I just spent 2 days in orientation for the kids for their homeschool co-op, their homeschool program. We do classical conversations. And even though this is our 4th year doing it, I still am learning a lot. Like if you've done it, you know what I'm talking about. If you haven't done it, it just kind of builds over and you do a little bit more each year. And so this season, I started looking at, okay, for this semester, where can I see that the kids are going to get tripped up? Where are the things, the themes, what are the books, the projects that I know that I'm going to need to pour extra time into them? And so I build this in as a priority for the season. And so now together with, I have my core values, which this typically you set it and then I guess I review them every couple of years. So the values, I just review them. I have them in a list. I defined each of them, what it means to me, why it's a value. Because let's face it, there's a lot of values that are really important. But when you have to identify the top 5 of the million values there are, then it helps you clarify and really get clear on the direction you want to go. And so you take the core values and you also take the season's priorities. If it will take energy away from a priority, then it has to be a really good reason. And it has to go with my values, and it has to give me a good reason to go against my priority or take extra energy, time, resources from my priority for that season. And so knowing this, that it helps me say yes or no fairly quickly, because I know that so my daughter is getting ready to do debate. And if you have ever done debate or if you've been through debate, it's an entire new language. It's an entire new concept. And so I know that every week, she will avoid things that she doesn't understand. Like who doesn't, right? And so I know that I need to give her time each week that to help her with that, to be successful in that. And so I'm building that into my schedule. And so when I am looking at, if my friends say, hey, Tammy, do you want to do lunch on a Wednesday afternoon? Because my season priority is to help her with school, I'm going to have to say no. As much as I love and my value is friends and family and relationships, but because my priority for this season, which also my family comes before my friends and my social life, then that's an easy no, even though I want to. So I can say, hey, what about we get up early on a Saturday morning and go have coffee instead? Or it's just, hey, catch me in 3 weeks when this debate is over. But by having that priority list, by knowing what my focus is and the intention I want to set for this season, I am able to make clear decisions. That I know that we're not going to go on a week-long trip unless, well, I'm always up for a trip. If we can go and because we can take schoolwork with us. So that's not a very good example. And we do have some trips planned, some short trips and then some just day trips. But let's see, what's another example of a season priority? Just the coffee with friends or lunch with friends, like that's an example because it means a lot to me when getting together with my friends, especially since we're all so busy. It doesn't happen as often as I would like. But if it doesn't align with my priority for the season, then I'm going to have to say no. Now, if it does, if it's after the big debate or if we're in a week that doesn't have any like new skills, then I'm like, okay, well, this is the week. I can say yes to it because it doesn't go against my priority. Now, another way to look at this is, what if your priority is to rekindle or pour into relationships? If that's your priority for the season, so that like, well, we do have schoolwork. However, I really want to pour into relationships, knowing that we can fit the schoolwork in other ways. That this schoolwork, like it's the debate, we can do that a little bit on the weekend, and we can both go and visit our friends or something. Like we can shift that. If that's your priority for this season is connection, you're going to make a very different decision. You're going to fit the schoolwork in somewhere else, or whatever it is. Sorry, I've got the hiccups all of a sudden. And so there's two. So you've got your core values and you have your season's priorities. Both of these will make it easy for you to say yes or no. But this third one is really the linchpin. This is really what is the steadiness of understanding this. It just enhances the other two. And it's partly understanding yourself. So understanding your core motivations, like what drives you. Because if, like I'm an Enneagram 1. So doing things the right way, being a rule follower drives me. Now, I say that and I need to actually do another podcast about how I stopped following all the rules, because this is something that my tendency is to do things the right way. And so inherently that means following the rules. But I've learned over the years to actually question some rules and to break some rules that are not actually necessary. That's a whole nother podcast. But what I'm saying is, by knowing that my inclination is to do what's right and do what's right for the group, there's times that I'm like, okay, is this just a gut reaction? Or is it based off of fear, a core avoidance, like because I don't like confrontation? So am I going to say yes because I don't want to let someone down, or because I don't want to confront, or because I feel like if I don't do it, it won't get done? By understanding my core motivations, I'm able to say yes or no based on information and not reaction, but response. I can analyze it. I can look and I can say, okay, the old me, the stressed out me would say, just volunteer and get it done. The growth mindset, the relaxed and the response Tammy said that this is not a good season for me. I can't add leading another Bible study to my list. Check me next season. Like let's talk in January if things change. I know that one of my things is I want to be more involved. My kids are freshman and junior, and especially my junior, it's now time to start like prepping for college. And I know that, when I said that you don't know what you don't know, it's hard to make a decision. Well, he has no clue what he doesn't even know. And so that's one of the things I want to pour into, is help him start to see what decisions there are out there to make. And so that's one of my season's priority for him, which will help me know. And then when I look at my core motivations, it's like, no, I want to do this systematically. I want to see what is the best option for him. And I can easily see what's right and what's wrong. And so that's because of that, it makes the decision easier. Now, there's also the side of, am I making a gut reaction? Am I reacting to this by saying yes when I really know in my heart that I want to say, that I should say no because of a fear? Because I, I want to be, well, like, let's say an Enneagram 7 who will say yes because it sounds fun when they know that in actuality they need to say no so they can focus on getting some of these tasks done or some of these the focusing that they really need. So there's a difference there. But when we know our core motivations and we know our season's priorities and we know our core values, we have a triad, we have a framework that you can make solid decisions with. It really can be that simple. It's not easy. It takes time to sit down and actually just uncover what your core decisions or your core values are. It takes time to start learning yourself and how do I react to situations? How do I want to respond to situations? And then really the sitting down in a season, you have to recognize that you're in a new season or you're about to enter a new season. You have to look ahead and see and make plans. And so this isn't going to be time consuming. However, how many times when you plan ahead, let's just say Thanksgiving dinner, you prep, you do all the prep work, you chop everything, you get all the recipe, you go shopping, maybe shopping weeks in advance, and you chop it all a week in advance. And then a couple of days in advance, you start making the sides that you could throw in the freezer or in the fridge. Or when you do that, the day of, it comes together a lot easier. That's what this is this framework. No, it does take some time to plan ahead, to get some things on paper, and your brain is going to be like, I'll do it later. I don't have time to do this. You don't have time not to. How many times have you made a decision knowing it's not the way you want it to go, but because you didn't have a reason why, because you are just it's just easier this way, or because you don't want to let people down, or because your reaction is just to say yes or to say no. There's times that God wants us to say yes when we're in the habit of saying no. If you take the time to take these 3 steps, this framework, and really dive into them, then your decision making will become a breeze. This is what I use to help me make those decisions. I can make tiny decisions and I can make life-changing decisions with these 3. And it can be that easy. You don't need anything else. And so I think that's it. I think that's all I want to leave you with. I think instead of going in and just talking about them even more, my offer to you, what I want to encourage you to take one of these 3 things, and over the next week, over the next 3 days, start with your core values. And you know what? Let me link something. I will put in the show notes or on my website, something. I will put something about the core value, like a PDF, a core value PDF that you can get that will help you start to identify some of the values that are important to you. And then the next day, I want you to look at this upcoming season. For many of us moms, it is school's getting ready to start. I just saw a picture of my niece who starts school on Monday. And clearly today she went and met her teacher. It's a new school, a new city. And the picture spoke like a 1,000 knives. You knew by looking at the picture, she was not thrilled that school starts on Monday. Now, in her defense, they didn't get much of a summer because they went from a school system up the Northeast that doesn't get out until the end of June. It's insane how late they get out, but they don't start until mid-September. Well, she moved to somewhere down south that starts in early August. So she really was robbed of 4 weeks of summer, at least, maybe 6 weeks of summer. So I can see why on her face she's a little upset. But anyway, I digress. Let's get back to focused. Let's get back to decision making. So I want you to spend one day, go and look at the core values. Pick 5 core values that mean a lot to you and define them for yourself. What does it mean? Why is it important? And I want you to write it, type it, like have it in front of you and read over it. Then the season's priorities. And then the next is the core motivations. Now, this one's going to be a little more challenging, but not really. This is where the Enneagram comes in. It will flat out tell you what your core motivations are. You take this 40-minute assessment and it starts to identify. Now, it is an assessment. So if you have taken it and you have questions, like so many times the assessment points into a direction, but doesn't get it exactly right. And this is why you work with somebody who knows it, because they can ask the right questions to like filter out. Because I just had a new client who she believed she was a 9. And really, when we started diving into it, she was a 3. And on that 9, she was a stressed out 9. She was not a healthy 9. She was in that blind spot path. She's in stress. And so it pointed to that. But because I know the questions to ask, that's why we were able to identify that she's actually a 3. And so with that, it shifts the motivations. You still have similar, because 9 and 3 are on the same path. However, they look a little different. The lens you put on first is different. And so if you want to take the Enneagram assessment, I have 2 of them that one is free and one is paid. I do like both of them. If you want that resource, reach out to me and I will get you those resources. And if you want to talk over these, like, okay, Tammy, if I want to know how to find my core value, like I've narrowed it down. I don't know how to narrow it down from 15 down to the top 5. Like, get on my calendar. My gift to you is 20 minutes of let's just talk about your next steps. This framework that I talked about here, it will be life-changing. It makes life so much easier for you. And you don't even have to think about it a lot of times, because you're like, okay, well, before I make a decision, let me consult my core values, my priorities this season, and what is my natural tendencies? What am I running to and what am I running away from? Does it go against either of those, or is it giving me insight to this gut reaction, this innate reaction that I'm having? It will help you figure out what you want and what you need, instead of that instinctual, let's just do it because, why not add something else to my list? Or no, I'm in a season of I'm not doing anything. This will help identify. So use this, please. But so 3 days, I want you to take, and I want you to look at these. Now, if you don't like the Enneagram, sit down and I want you to journal. What are some of the things that really mean a lot to you? What are some of the recent decisions that you've made, and why did you make them? That'll give you insight as well. So core values, seasons, priorities are in core motivations. Those 3 things are your secret to success to make decision-making a breeze. All right, friends, I am super excited to be with you today. I'm super excited about things that are coming. I am doing a boot camp. This is a 12-week boot camp, and it's going to be limited space. In order to be part of this, you do have to contact me. We need to have a conversation, because so we can talk about if you're a good fit for it, if you're ready for it. What it is it's purpose to profit boot camp. We're going to clarify what your calling is, and we're going to build the foundation for a profitable business from it. This is the steps that I took to create my business from my purpose to not the pain that I've been through. Okay, that points to purpose, but that's not your purpose. Well, what it is we're going to walk through, and we're going to get clear on what is God asking you? What is He hid in your heart? What is it that you've been through in life that you want to make an impact? How do you take your purpose and turn it into a profitable business? Well, the Purpose to Profit Bootcamp is the way we're going to do this. So I'm hoping to do this several times, but this will be the only one this year. The next one will be probably January. So you want to get in. It's special pricing for this year. It will go up the next round, but I want to test out a few things. This is what I've done with my clients. This is what I've done with myself. And this is the framework that we take all of these things in consideration. Like, you will work out your core values. You will look at your season's priority, and you will understand your core motivations and how it all ties in, and so much more. So if you're interested in that, right now, the way is like, reach out to me. Again, limited spots. We have to have a conversation in order to do that. And there's going to be, well, let's just say, like, I have a bonus for the first 3 people who sign up. You actually get a really big bonus. I'm not going to tell you what it is, but it is going to help you set up and make this a bit like even more of a success for you. Like, we will meet together. Okay, well, you get an extra one-on-one with me when you are the first 3 to sign up. And I'm super excited about it. You'll hear more about it. It's going to start in September, which we're already in August, so it's going to happen soon. But yeah, like, just think about it, pray about it. But if you're interested, get on the call with me. The call is not it's not you saying yes until you're ready. All right. I'm not somebody who's going to force you into something that you're not ready for, but I am going to I am going to question, and I'm going to help you see that time with things like this are not really our friends. That fear plays into us waiting. And if you want to see what's possible, if you've been thinking about this for a while, this purpose and what can you do with it, and you are ready to have financial freedom based off of it, this bootcamp is for you, because we will be building that foundation for you. All right, friend, with that, choose joy until joy chooses you. Get on my calendar. Let's chat. I am super excited to see what God is going to do in your life and how I can help you, how I can support you through that. All right, with that, I will see you soon. Bye for now.